Теперь по поводу ПРО. Послушайте, вот здесь все очень взрослые люди и уже опытные. Мы с вами, я сейчас не буду просить, чтобы вы это все, вот так, как я скажу, отражали в своих материалах, влияли на прессу там, или как. Я просто вам, вот знаете, хочу вам лично сказать, напомнить какие-то вещи. Ведь мир избавлен от крупномасштабных войн и военных конфликтов. Мы с вами все об этом знаем. Благодаря так называемому стратегическому балансу, который был достигнут после того, как две суперядерные державы договорились фактически о сдерживании и в росте наступательных вооружений, и о сдерживании в системах противоракетной обороны. Потому что для всех понятно, если одна сторона развивает противоракетную оборону успешнее, чем вторая, то она приобретает преимущество, и у нее появляется искушение использовать это оружие первой. Поэтому это один из краеугольных камней международной безопасности. Система противоракетной обороны и договоренности в этой сфере. Я далек от того, чтобы кого-то ругать, обвинять в чем-то. Но когда наши партнеры американские вышли в одностороннем порядке, они нанесли колоссальный удар, или вот это был первый удар по международной стабильности с точки зрения возможности нарушения баланса сил стратегического. Тогда я сказал, мы сейчас не можем развивать эти технологии, поскольку, дорого, во-вторых, еще неизвестно, как они будут работать. Мы не будем так деньги палить. Мы пойдем по другому пути, мы будем совершенствовать ударные системы, чтобы сохранить баланс. Только для этого. Не для того, чтобы угрожать кому-то. Нам ответили, это вот наша система ПРО не против вас, а то, что вы делаете, мы исходим из того, что это не против нас. И делайте, что хотите. Я думаю, что вот такой столько вопроса, она связана с тем, я уже говорил, по-моему, сегодня на пленарном заседании, связано было с тем, что это же начало 2000-х годов. Россия находилась в очень сложном положении. Развал экономики, фактически гражданская война и борьба с терроризмом на Кавказе, оборонная промышленность в развале, вооруженные силы в ужасном состоянии. Кому в голову приходилось, что Россия сможет наращивать стратегические вооружения? Наверное, думали о том, что пройдет некоторое время, имеющиеся, доставшиеся от Советского Союза вооружения будут деградировать. Поэтому сказать, делайте, что хотите. Но мы предупреждали, что мы будем это делать. Мы сказали об этом. И мы делаем. И я вас уверяю, сегодня Россия добилась существенных успехов на этом пути. Я сейчас не буду всего перечислять, но мы модернизировали наши комплексы. И успешно развиваем новые поколения. Я уже не говорю о системах преодоления, системах противоракетной обороны. Но наши партнеры, несмотря на все наши возражения, на все наши предложения о реальном сотрудничестве, не хотят с нами сотрудничать, отвергают все наши предложения и действуют по своему плану. Я сейчас не буду, некоторые вещи считаю даже пока некорректным говорить публично. Но вы можете мне верить, можете не верить. Мы предлагали конкретные элементы, конкретный вариант сотрудничества. Они реально все были отклонены. Но вот все-таки пришли к тому, что сейчас построили систему ПРО в Румынии. Говорили это все время о чем? Нам нужно защититься от иранской ядерной угрозы. Где ядерная угроза иранская? Ее нет? Договор подписали уже. И причем Соединенные Штаты были, по сути, инициаторами этого договора с Ираном. Мы помогли, мы поддержали. Но угрозы нет, а система ПРО продолжает строиться. Значит, мы были правы, когда говорили, что нас обманывают. С нами неискренне, ссылаясь на якобы имеющуюся иранскую ядерную угрозу при строительстве системы ПРО. Так оно и есть на самом деле. В очередной раз пытались нас надуть. Сейчас построили эту систему, сейчас ставят там ракеты. Так? Но вам должно быть известно, что ракеты эти закладываются в капсулу, которые используются для пусков ракет средней дальности «Томагавк» морского базирования. Значит, туда закладывают сейчас антиракеты, способные поражать цели на расстоянии 500 километров. Но мы знаем, технологии развиваются. Мы примерно знаем, в каком году примерно американцы получат новую ракету, которая будет уже не 500 километров, а 1000, а потом больше. И с этого момента они начнут угрожать нашему ядерному потенциалу. Мы по годам знаем, что будет происходить. И они знают, что мы знаем. Это вам только вешают лапшу на уши, как у нас говорят. А вы, в свою очередь, вешаете своему населению. И люди не чувствуют опасности. Вот меня что беспокоит. Ну как мы не можем понять? Мы тащим мир вообще в совершенно новое измерение. Вот в чем проблема. Делают вид, что как будто ничего не происходит. Но я не знаю даже, как достучаться. И о чем говорят? Это часть оборонного потенциала, не наступательного. Это значит, системы, которые призваны оградить от агрессии. Это неправда, это не так. Стратегическая система противоракетной обороны – это часть наступательного стратегического потенциала. И все это работает в единой связке с наступательными ударными комплексами. Одни прикрывают, одни наносят упреждающий удар высокоточным оружием, другие прикрывают от ядерного ответного удара, третьи, значит, наносят сами ядерный удар. Это все в комплексе решается. В комплексе современном неядерного исполнения высокоточным оружием. Значит, ну ладно, вот эти противоракеты, которые будут развиваться и будут все больше и больше нам угрожать. Но вот в эти чехлы, куда закладываются антиракеты, я же сказал, что они берутся с кораблей, и там эти шахты, так скажем, используются для томагавков. Ну там можно вообще просто за несколько часов поставить туда томагавки и все. И это уже никакие не противоракеты. Откуда мы знаем, что там в этих шахтах находится? Нужно просто изменить программу. Все. Это работа абсолютно незаметная. До Румынии никто не будет знать, что там происходит. Их что, допускают румын туда, что ли? Никто не будет знать. Ни румыны не будут знать, ни поляки не будут знать. Я знаю, как это делается. Это, на мой взгляд, это большая опасность. Вот когда-то мы обсуждали с нашими партнерами американскими, у них была идея создания баллистических ракет в неядерном исполнении. И мы им тогда сказали: слушайте, ну вы понимаете, что это такое или нет? Вот у вас будут стартовать ракеты с подводных лодок, с территории. Стартует баллистическая ракета. Мы же не знаем, есть там ядерная головка или нет. Какую угрозу вы будете создавать? Ну, насколько нам известно, сегодня эта программа не осуществляется. Они ее остановили пока. Но это продолжают. К чему это все придет, я не знаю. Но я знаю точно, что мы вынуждены будем отвечать. Только я уже заранее знаю, чтобы нас будут обвинять в агрессивном поведении, хотя это только ответ. Но ясно, что мы должны будем обеспечить безопасность. Не только свою. Нам очень важно обеспечить стратегический баланс в мире. И еще раз вернусь к этому и закончу ответ на этот вопрос с того, с чего начал. Вот именно этот стратегический баланс гарантировал мир на планете, гарантировал нас от крупных вооруженных конфликтов за последние 70 лет. И это благо. Хоть оно такое, знаете, основанное как бы на взаимной угрозе, но тем не менее взаимная угроза, она обеспечила нам глобальный мир на протяжении десятилетий. Как его можно разрушить, так я не знаю. Мне кажется, что это очень опасно. Не только на уши, как у нас говорят, а вы, в свою очередь, вешаете своему населению. И люди не чувствуют опасности. Вот меня что беспокоит. Ну как мы не можем понять? Мы тащим мир вообще в совершенно новое измерение. Вот в чем проблема. Делают вид, что как будто ничего не происходит. Но я не знаю даже, как достучаться. Кажется, я в этом уверен.
You go over to China.
We're going to win with trade. We're going to win with health. We're going to win at so many levels. We're going to win. You're going to get so tired of winning. You're going to say, Mr. President, please, we don't want to win anymore. It's too much. And I'm going to say, I'm sorry. We're going to keep winning because we're going to make America great again.
Let's say China. China. Cheers.
Senator, there are 5 U.S. warships in the Mediterranean right now. Russia and China allegedly are sending warships as well. Russia, China, and Iran have warned the United States of catastrophic consequences if the United States attacks Syria. What are your thoughts on that?
My thoughts are that it doesn't concern me in the slightest.
And why is that?
Because they will not act, just as they didn't act when the Israelis 4 times have taken out targets inside Syria. Syria said that they would react, and they didn't. The United States is the most powerful nation in the world, and we're not going to be intimidated by Russia and China. We are not. So I guarantee you that they will not act. If we launch these strikes against Syria, they will not act.
Senator Ted Cruz said yesterday out of Texas that we should not act as al-Qaeda's air force. The al-Nusra Front is fighting alongside the Free Syrian Army, which is directly linked to al-Qaeda. Why was the United States fighting against al-Qaeda in Afghanistan, but now fighting alongside them in Syria?
Because your statement is totally false. Your statement could not be more false.
That isn't false. That's been well documented.
No, your statement is false. So if you want to say that it's not, I'm entitled to say your statement is false. I've been in Syria. Have you been in Syria? No.
I have not.
No, you have not.
It's also clear that the American people overwhelmingly do not support a war in Syria. A research poll said 91% of Americans do not support it.
Your statement was false, so I don't have any response to a false statement.
Senator McCain, what do you say about your judgment on how to pick the good and evil in Syria when you yourself were photographed? How do we trust your judgment, picking the good and the evil in
photographed with someone because it appeared in an al-Qaeda newspaper in Lebanon?
It appeared in the Guardian newspaper. You obviously know what I'm talking about. How are we supposed to trust your judgment if you're photographed with known terrorists?
I have never had anything to do with known terrorists, and I'm offended by your question.
Senator, some people believe that there will never be peace in the...
You go over to China. You take China. China. I love them. China. I have to have my China. China, because China. You know, China. I know China very well. China.
Northwest Wisconsin, where I'm from.
It's China to me. China. You want to buy from China? That's great. Buy from China. Buy toys from China. China in particular. China. I have people that I know in China. China. I've been saying China. China.
Let me ask you about China.
I go to China. China. People from China, they love me. Right. China. In China, they say I don't like China. I love China. People think I don't like China. I love China. China is the new China, by the way. China. I deal with China. China. Big league China. So don't tell me about China. I know China. China. Whether it's China. So if you went to China and you wanted to get a job in China, I don't knock China. How could I dislike China? The man from China. You have China, Carl. Take China. China. China's over here. Look at what China's doing. They're learning from China. China. Okay? Look at that. Isn't that nice? China. And by the way, I love China. I mean, I love China. How can you not love China? I love China. China, China. China, 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 China. And you know China, 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 South China, China, China. People say, oh, you don't like China. I like China. China. I love China. China. China all the time. China.
I have nothing against America. We're perfectly all right. Trump is my friend. But my foreign policy has shifted from what of that pro-Western. I now have this working alliance with China, and I hope to establish a good working relations with Russia. Why? Because Western world, EU and everything, they have this double talk.
September the 2nd, 2017, Express, a news site, British news site. They aren't any better, to make myself clear, than the stuff that you have seen it. It's actually all this coming right from here. And what we're going to do is we're going to reload this page, which supposedly is talking about Mallorca holidays. We're going to scroll down. We're going to play you a video here. Some protest against the tourists wherever. And then we're going to pay attention to what is suggested here. Weathermen get swept off feet by Typhoon Hato. However, this video, it's played after every other video on this website, and I have observed they do so already for a week. This is not a coincidence, therefore, and the British have chosen, the West, if you like, have chosen for this typhoon the name Hato. Hato for Japanese pigeon. Interesting phenomena. You see, it's going to autoplay now this video that I have talking about. Okay, before we continue with this video, Hato for pigeon from Japanese. As you know, Japanese were present in China. They massacred a lot of Chinese people, quite a few millions of them. Terrible massacre during the World War II. And it seems like that British people who support Buckingham Palace, they seem to love Buckingham Palace, support this type of politic. You know, it seems to them that, it seems to me that they simply hate Chinese people, that they would love to see them massacred or something like that. They name Hato, they change from Hato, from the word Hato, to Hato, and what you're about to see is going to be maybe a weatherman or somebody else that will get swept off feet by the wave. And it's like I said, this has been going on already for a week. Follows every video that is posted on this website. It's simply fascinating.
This is Typhoon Hato. It's caused authorities to issue the highest level of alert when it slammed into Hong Kong this morning, bringing destructive winds and waves, uprooting trees. Destructive winds and waves, uprooting trees.
The Hato, you know, the Hato was the one that also dropped bombs on Nagasaki and Hiroshima. Just that much. A little note to the Japanese, in case you are stimulated by what I think is, again, maybe some crazy emperor there.
Took about 45 seconds from the time the bomb left the airplane until it exploded. And I think there wasn't a man in the airplane that wasn't either timing it with his watch or counting or doing something. I was sure the bomb wasn't going to work.
After falling for 43 seconds, the time and barometric triggers started the firing mechanism. A uranium bullet fired down a barrel into a uranium target. Together, they started a nuclear chain reaction. Solid matter began to come apart, releasing untold quantities of energy.
This is Typhoon WWIII. Typhoon WWIII. It's caused uprooting trees, destructive winds and waves, uprooting trees, destructive winds and waves, uprooting trees.
Barometric triggers started the firing mechanism. A uranium bullet fired down a barrel into a uranium target. Together, they started a nuclear chain reaction. Solid matter began to come apart, releasing untold quantities of energy.
Typhoon WWIII.
Ведь, ну, вот смотрите, мы знаем, во всяком случае сегодня, очень многие стороны советского режима. Знаем Сталина, да? Так, как раньше мы его не знали. Знаем, что это был диктатор, тиран. Я очень сомневаюсь, чтобы Сталин весной 1945 года, если бы у него была атомная бомба, применил бы ее против Германии. В 1941-1942 году, когда стоял вопрос о жизни или смерти государства, может быть, и применил, если бы у него было. А в 1945-м, когда уже противник все сдавался, по сути дела, шансов у него никаких не было, я сомневаюсь, вот я лично. А американцы применили против Японии терпящее поражение, причем против неядерного государства. Знаете, вот у нас большие различия между нами, но
And a beautiful goodnight story for American mamas and papas, for those of you who have supported Donald J. Kushner, Trump, as the new president of United States of America. That included me, as you know, longer, but what I'm fascinated about this clip here is not about this individual here pushing forward his made in Israel, made in Benjamin Netanyahu story, you know, as we know what that's all about. Here the word Muslims is missing. Okay, what actually fascinates me is the support, you know, the cheer of this American mamas and papas, you know. It's fascinating because he even mentions that we should be vigilant or we're not going to have country this and that. In the end, these people just somehow, seems like they don't get it or they do get it. So that's what actually really freaks me out. You know, are they really so dumb? I mean, are they really so dumber than dumb that they go along with this kind of Zio fascist? politics or, you know, I don't know.
You know, I read a story. It's a terrible story, but I'll tell you. Should I tell you or should I not? Early in the century, last century, General Pershing, did you ever hear rough guy? Rough guy. And they had a terrorism problem. And there's a whole thing with swine and animals and pigs, and you know the story, okay? They don't like that. And they were having a tremendous problem with terrorism. And by the way, this is something you can read in the history books. Not a lot of history books because I don't like teaching this. And General Pershing was a rough guy. And he sits on his horse and he's very astute, like a ramrod, right? And the year was early 1900s. And this was a terrible problem. They were having terrorism problems just like we do. And he caught 50 terrorists who did tremendous damage and killed many people. And he took the 50 terrorists, and he took 50 men, and he dipped 50 bullets in pig's blood. You heard that, right? He took 50 bullets, and he dipped them in pig's blood. And he had his men load his rifles, and he lined up the 50 people, and they shot 49 of those people. And the 50th person, he said, you go back to your people and you tell them what happened. And for 25 years, there wasn't a problem. Okay? 25 years, there wasn't a problem. All right? So we better start getting tough, and we better start getting vigilant, and we better start using our heads, or we're not going to have a country, folks. We're not going to have a country.
Well, this actually is what Donald J. Kushner is talking about. Philippine-American War and bullets dipped in pig's blood.
I have nothing against America. We're perfectly all right. Trump is my friend. But my foreign policy has shifted from what of that pro-Western. I now have this working alliance with China, and I hope to establish a good working relations with Russia. Why?
All right, guys. Yesterday I was going to write another article about situation in North Korea. And as you see here, I started it on my news site, Alsa Times. When I say, you know what, I said, come on, I said, this is so important. You know, let's just go on with it and, you know, start doing documentary and this stuff. This is really historical. And so I decided to dedicate this documentary to the stance which I have presented in the past. Because everything that we witness, really more than anything, is related to the past, but this matters because it is related to the future. It's related to the direction in which we are heading. Okay? And you partially already know what this is all about. The news I was going to write about yesterday is I was going to point out exactly the opposite of what, you know, facts that we're not practically allowed to know about, read about in mainstream media. Because this mainstream media, this Rothschild's owned media, 96% is either owned or controlled by the Rothschilds. And Rothschilds, I'm sure that you know, are bred with a royal family, with British family. It's going to be a lot about them. It's just something that really prompted me to investigate, first of all, who is this man, this North Korean dictator? They call him dictator. Mickey Mouse psychopath. It's really nothing, especially this British media. This British media more aggressive than any other media, much more than even American media. It's just one man in the US that is as insane as British media And it also prompts me to think about that Donald Trump is no different from Obama. Obama was a British agent. The procedure basically on how to crash United States of America and hand one as a bankrupt country over to the British royals seems to continue under the Donald Trump. It's basically how I see it. I see it that the politics, the US politics did not change, and the John McCain hatred, which was evident under the Bush, under Obama, under Clinton, under everybody, is totally the same. It's a mirror. Okay, it's the same thing. Mirror of Trump is what it is. Okay, it's just that John McCain scapegoated Russia, and Trump scapegoats China. He hates China with a passion. Although he gets all his product from China, places, brands them as made in America and sells them to American people. And that people, Americans that dare to investigate this individual, they disappeared. Simple as this. I'm sure you have read about that in the mainstream media. And so there's only one individual that's crazy, and really his name is Donald Trump. And so because of my personal case, it's the case that involved a lot of politicians in it. It's the first thing that I would want to do is, you know, it really prompted me during this documentary is I would like to issue a warning that I think, and it's something Vladimir Putin already have also mentioned. You know, he mentioned Americans that they are disrupted. I like that word disrupted because I think this whole shit, this violation of my human rights by the European Union, by United States of America, this whole thing is really being used for nothing more than this disrupt also the world politicians. I think that the whole world, you know, that we are so destabilized, that the news that we witness, it's like a twilight zone. I mean, and I'm sure you remember the news about Typhoon Hato. I mean, that's like a twilight. It's like unreal. I mean, how can they go and, you know, blend, you know, stuff like this is just in the news, in the mainstream media, and, you know, suggest subtly, you know, threat with stuff like this, sick stuff like that. But it's the stuff that is going on in the mainstream media already for I don't know how many years now, over a decade. It is just unbelievable. And so who really is this man? Who is this the Mickey Mouse psychopath? You know, this lunatic, this war maniac, I don't know how they call him, this British media, Rothschild media, royal media is what it is. Who is this guy in reality? You know, if you like, guys, I did post the picture here of Rothschild and of Charles, Prince Charles. If you guys like, you can go ahead and you can compare these qualifications here, which I'm sure are just a few, because it's more than anything, it's evident to me this individual have even received doctorate in economics, honorary doctorate in economics from university, from the private college in Kuala Lumpur, meaning that he knows something about things that even the alternative news medias, that whoever dares to write about this stuff, don't mention. Okay, so they mentioned that he got 2 degrees. Okay, let's see this here. From what you see here, this individual speaks no less than 4 languages: French, German, English, Korean, and I bet he speaks more than that. That's what they have realized from what they were able to observe about him when he attended education here in Europe. He attended school in Switzerland in German and so on, and you know, the espionage, all these international schools are well monitored by the governments and they profile these children. They find out, because they know these are children from diplomats, presidents, and so on. And so this is what they have learned about him. Okay. They also mentioned that he got 2 other degrees, which one is military degree over there in Korea and so on. And then they come up with this news here. This is from Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. Something also about economics and stuff like this. So this guy, he is quite capable. You know, he is actually not a Mickey Mouse. He's not a lunatic. It looks to me like this guy is very sophisticated, actually. Very intelligent individual we're dealing with here. Okay, definitely not something I would say for Prince Charles, who have surrounded himself instead with company that you see here, with pedophiles, with funny people. Basically, all you got to do is to learn more about this Rothschild inbreed. Just go ahead and list here in Google search or whatever search, Prince Charles and Rothschilds. This is okay. And then basically you're gonna see what you come up with. You're gonna get anywhere from pedophiles who have surrounded himself to, you know, totally weird people. I mean, weird parties, weird craziness, like somebody that needs, to me, it looks like a heavy-duty entertainment. You know, unusual stuff going, to be alive, to bear with his misery. This is pretty much how I see it. I mean, look at this stuff. You can make this stuff up. This stuff is real. This is a legacy of the lunacy. If you want to meet royals like this on the side, all you gotta do is basically hurry to casinos. You may want to head to Las Vegas and probably going to meet, I should say, probably Prince Harry is going to meet you and so on. Prince Charles, they just, what can I say, love this kind of environment. It's a scary fact that people like this are actually thrilled by, you know, excited by, thrilled by, you know, gambling, you know, by hijacking. As you know, I have reported him. I have reported these people for hijacking, abductions, because they have, I'm not going to say collaborated, but they were like an engine of this European jury here that have conspired against me. It's just, I'm going to say, totally fascinating. The world of these people, the excitement, the thrill, where they find one, is extraordinary. And it's this type of mentality that is actually this type of gambling, the willingness to gamble on everything or nothing, that is taking us firmly into the World War III, folks. And you know, and so if I compare that type of life, you know, with somebody that is so humiliated, you know, so I don't actually have the words for it. You know, he is not humiliated. He's just, this man is intelligent. He would probably not be doing the stuff he does if he was not. I am 100% sure that there are people inside of the Korea, just like they are in KGB and just like they're in CIA and everywhere else, that, you know, if he really would have been so crazy that he would not know what the hell he's doing, they definitely, I would say, they would stop him. Okay? But because of the stuff that we're going to talk about today, they, I would say, have every reason to keep him there. He might have gone a little too far with missile shots about the Japan. I definitely that he did so. He did go a little too far with it. I hope he's going to consider this. But other than that, you know, the politics that we witness is just the stuff that I'm going to talk about, the stuff that you have seen is just a fact. It's undeniable fact that these elites, these Zio-fascist elites, who have spread Zionism throughout America. This was the first, and this is the firm pillar of Zio-fascism that have rooted itself, that have survived in Europe while prospering greatly throughout the United States. And after the Second World War have found, thanks to this Zio-fascist pillar, and of course I'm talking about the Buckingham Palace, have found its way right back into the Europe. The story about the so-called British royals, to whom I'm going to refer to, is with a little bit inappropriate word, otherwise would be inappropriate, but sometimes you just have to use this poor choice of language. We'll refer to them as a fuck-ups, and you will see in a little bit why. Okay, this teamed up, brothered family with Rothschilds that have inbreeded themselves. I'm talking about also Princess Diana, who had political agenda going already before she even married Charles, and it's what actually have created friction due to her ways in Charles. And one thing led into another, I believe. He probably, I would say, behind the curtain, there must have been some arguments that led into affairs with other women. And the next thing you see, the women like this, vengeful, with totally different agenda, have basically the worst in her came out. And then it all started. It started with human rights. It started with anything and everything that could be used as a revenge, not only against Charles, but against Great Britain, I would say. Because what we have going on today, you remember when I said fuck-ups? What we have going on today, Sharia basically in Great Britain, where British people cannot even find anymore, you know, they no longer, they're strangers now in their own land. Let's put it this way. It is all thanks to these British royals. The easiest way out of conundrum, out of the politics that British have taken, stuff that I have talked about, the pillar of Zio-fascism, which they had in their mind a very long time ago, was to continue to with anarchy politics, and so they could blend themselves in what Princess Diana started. She started all kinds of rights for so-called minorities, you name it, whatever kind of rights that led into the grooming gangs, you know, just anything, everything possible to destroy Great Britain in every possible sense, and incite British people into a hatred against the Muslims. And of course here, this is what we are talking about again, is the Israeli agenda. Okay, so the Great Britain had to be ruined for the Israel, so they could use Israel to gamble. And meaning, you know, you remember when I mentioned the word twice already, the word fuck-ups? This is when the third time, I promise I'm not going to use one anymore, comes to mind. Okay, these people got an idea that with this type of hatred, with this type of politic, with gambling, with China, that's crazy. I mean, that's a war that is going to leave us all dead in Europe. Okay, if the Great Britain is going to get into that war with Russia, China, I'm pretty damn sure that all of us Europeans know that none of us is going to stay alive. Okay, because they're going to nuke the shit out of us. And if they're not going to nuke the shit out of us, all those nukes, if they detonate, this planet is not going to be, we're not going to be able to, it's just going to be probably, I would say, it's going to look like a little ball, fogged ball in radioactive fog, I would say. That's how it would look like in the space. Because that's basically where we are moving into. This is the direction we're moving.
because of the Buckingham Palace, because of the few people in Britain, I'm going to say not even 0.5%, that are willing to be thrilled. Remember that casino, the excitement, the thrill, that type of strange, really, really sick, strange habits, wicked people that Charles have surrounded with himself with, and an ability of Queen to simply stop this, just stop it and, do something about. Yes, exactly where we are moving to. There is a saying that I have invented. That's another quote that I have invented because I was really upset. It was sometimes in 2006 when I came back here from the US, and I did realize that they would not allow me to work here again in Slovenia after they have ruined my life in US. They wouldn't allow me to later on to be anywhere in Europe, not in Canada, not anywhere. And I came up with the idea that regarding Slovenia, if this is the attitude basically that they're taking, such a hateful attitude toward me, I came up with the idea that, but again, these are the politicians that are really sick here, and xenofascist lunatics is what they are, that if I'm not going to have one, they're not going to have one either. And in other words, I had the idea to simply divide this country with countries, with neighbor countries. Croatia, Hungary, Austria, Italy, let it go away. The country that, that cannot obey, civilized rules of the civilized society, because Europe's supposed to be civilized, about the civilization. And in my case, these people here in Slovenia, these politicians, really have displayed everything but that type of engagement. Okay, let's just put it that way. And it seems to me that these British royals, came up with, very same type of attitude, except that in this case, the outcome would be good. In that case, in that other scenario that they came up with, I think the outcome is like desperate. It's like a desperate way. It's like the British society already highly disapproves them. These people in Buckingham Palace are highly disapproved. Nobody really, very few people in Britain really likes them. They go around and, you can see Queen and you can see her husband still obtaining some sympathy, but when it comes to the young royals, William gets some cheer because he's got 3 kids. It looks like he is into family and stuff like that, but Harry, I don't really know how much he gets approval in Britain today. It's clear, it's evident these people have totally distanced themselves from reality, and they know that the time is coming. It's a great opposition against Rothschilds in Great Britain. And it's likewise in the US that they're going to have to face that ultimate choice.